Hey friends, welcome back to the This Day podcast. This is Megan, and today on the podcast we have the incredible Karen Kingsbury joining us to talk about her new movie and latest book, The Christmas Ring. Y'all, if you have not seen this movie yet or read the book, go to the theater, see the movie right after you listen to the podcast, and go out and get the book, y'all. We are so excited to have Karen on the podcast today. It is going to be a great episode. Before we get to the episode, check out a word from our sponsor. Y'all, the Christmas season is upon us, and we have an incredible Christmas devotional just for you called Rumors of a Savior. In the show notes below, check out this incredible devotional that walks you through the 25 days of Advent. You do not want to miss diving in this Christmas season. Check it out. And now to our podcast with Karen. Karen, we are so excited to have you on the podcast today, and we're so excited to talk about your new movie and your new book, The Christmas Ring. Thank you so much for being here. So share a
Me.
little bit about what can we expect from this movie.
So, The Christmas Ring is a love story. It is set in the military town of Columbus, Georgia, and it's about a military Gold Star widow who is looking for an heirloom that she lost and that has been in the family since World War II. It's a ring, and they've always called it the Christmas ring. And now she finds her way into antique shops looking for it, and as she does, she meets Ben Miller. He and his father own the shop, and they begin a friendship, and it becomes something very beautiful that causes them to think about the past and how it's got a lot of poetry in it, this movie, because antiques are poetic. You wonder who held
Yeah.
that item first and why did they let it go? And so that, excuse me, that is definitely a big part of it. And unbeknownst to them, Ben's father finds something he's been looking for all of his life, a diamond in the rough. And it just might turn out to be the very ring that Vanessa is looking for.
That's so sweet. It's such an incredible story. So you filmed this movie actually in Franklin, Tennessee, in the heat of the summer.
Yes.
How was that experience? How is it being close to home to film this movie?
Well, being close to home is an amazing gift because I know the crew here and they're incredible. Getting to be able to sleep in my own bed each night and still see family, when we weren't filming. But they were long 12-hour days. Our director, Tyler Russell, did a phenomenal job working with our director of photography, Matt Rogers, in scouting locations for shadows. So at a certain time of the day, it'd be sunny, and then the sun would shift and then there'd be shadows, and shadows look colder than sun when it's 109, when the
Yeah.
field is 109. But because we were making, this is Columbus, Georgia, that the story is set in. And so in Georgia, there's actually a lot of trees that don't lose their green. And we didn't have to do fake snow until there's some snow at the very end, but like definitely that helped us a lot. And,
Mhm.
I think oh, goodness, it's just such a gift to be able to work in Franklin, Tennessee. The people have been so kind. Our locations were stunning. Our three antique shops, because of the shared faith in Jesus that these owners had and that I
Yeah.
had with them, they didn't charge us. Like we're
Wow.
50 people in, and you've got millions of dollars of antiques, and you're letting us come in to film a movie. I mean, the miracles began there and continued with our cast. And gosh, now I'm just, wanting everyone to be a part of the miracle and go see the Christmas ring in theaters. It's the perfect way to ring in Christmas.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what is one message you want people to take with them when they read the book, when they watch the movie? What's something you want people to take away?
Yeah, there's some beautiful moments. Kelsey Grammer just does such a beautiful job as Howard Miller. I feel like Tyler, our director, really, the two of them got to a place where the emotion and the sentiment that you feel from Howard is something I think people will relate to in a way that brings reconciliation to their own stories. So I
Yeah.
think people are going to come to the theaters, as strangers, like we do. We come in, it's like, okay, well, I don't know these people. By the time you leave and you've laughed and cried together, you've watched love happen in a second chance sort of romance a second time around. By the time you've realized the sacrifice of the military and the equally a sacrifice, obviously a much greater sacrifice of God giving us his son at Christmas, the
Yeah.
greatest gift. And when you've seen this play out, you won't leave strangers. You'll leave the theater a community. And that's so important. Like give your heart a reset And that's what seeing the Christmas ring in theaters is doing for people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Community is something that keeps everybody grounded, everybody centered in their life. Um, so when you were writing this book, when you were writing any of the stories you've written, because now a lot of your books are becoming films and vice versa. Did you ever see the movie when you're writing the book?
You know what? That's exactly, Megan, that's exactly what happens for me is that God
Yeah,
puts a movie in my heart. And this is the very first time I've had a movie and book come out at the same time. And
yeah,
I think what's really interesting is that since it does come to me as a movie, it's so visual and I'm writing, I feel like I'm the first reader capturing, what I'm seeing and hearing and feeling and all those things like a woven tapestry. I just feel like kind of the conveyor of that message, of that story. But this time around, Tyler and I wrote the script first. So the director was also a co-writer on the script. And we wrote the script first, and we were just, it was going so fast. I mean, in March, we didn't know we were doing a movie this year. Our first Karen Kingsbury production film was Someone Like You. It came out
yeah.
in April of 24. So we were looking to make a different one, and we're still going to hope to make that one. And this story just came out of nowhere, and it was suddenly clear everything was in place. Like we could make this a movie. So after we had the script and we were already had hired a casting director, Ricky Maslar, who's phenomenal. And we were at that process. And I said, you know what? I want more. And I need more details. So this is the one case where I recommend go see the movie first. People say, well, I'd like to read the book first. Well, see the movie first because they're so close. And then you'll know the world you're reading about. And like me, I wanted more. I wanted a bigger story about World War II at the beginning, more details. What happens after the dance? You know what? I needed more information. So I had to write the book. I think I wrote it in like 8 days while we were kind of in pre-production. It was a crazy schedule, but I felt like this was a story that needed more information. So see the movie and then read the book.
That's so great. That's so incredible. Um, now, what advice do you have for, say, there's like a young author listening to this, or somebody that's like trying to figure out they'll enjoy writing, but they don't know if they want to make that their full career or passion. What advice do you have for that person?
Well, people will ask me this, and sometimes it's young people, and sometimes it's people who, have already retired. And I always say the same thing. If you have a story on your heart, write it. Like you want to write a book? My
Mhm.
first tip, write it. Because you'll never regret doing that. And even if you can only do half a page a day, eventually the days go by and you'll have your story. For me, I outline first because I
Mhm.
don't want to swim halfway across the ocean and get it wrong, have to start over. That's kind of like writing a book is sort of like that, like swimming across the ocean. So I outline and I recommend people to do that too. But the thing is, your classroom, if you're an author, you want to be an author or a filmmaker, your classroom is the book or movie that moves you the most. So if you're someone who says, I want to make movies that will help the culture and bring love and peace and healing to our nation, I want to be part of the solution and helping people find faith in Christ like that. If that's your goal, that's my goal, then go see the Christmas ring. That's your classroom. And you can say, okay, I see how that pacing was. I see how those characters, the arc of the characters was. Um, Same for a book. Read the books that you want to write like. If you see yourself in a certain genre, if it's mystery, then read a mystery writer. But I would say this is hold on to the dream. In the Christmas ring, we used only real military for our background actors. We have 100 military members, active and retired, in the movie. One of them is James Daniels. He's 102. And James Daniels is a World War II vet. And he told me, he said, I've always wanted to be in the movies. And he's 102 and he's making his theatrical
Wow.
debut as we speak. It's in theaters. So if you have a dream to do this, hold on to the dream. You might do something else for a paycheck, but keep the dream alive and keep on trying to take from your head and your heart that very story and get it onto the paper or onto the screen.
That's great. That's great advice. Now, I feel like we can't continue this podcast without talking about favorite Christmas memories because this is a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas podcast. So, what are some of your favorite Christmas memories that you had that maybe kind of inspired some of the things that happen in this movie? Or what is just something that you look forward to during the holidays?
Well, we are big, our family is very big on Christmas traditions. We love, everything about the Christmas season. And, starting early, even in November, we'll get our house decorated. And then the Saturday after Thanksgiving, we like to do our gingerbread house competition. And you will see
Okay.
in the Christmas Ring movie playing in theaters now, and only in theaters, by the way, because we're not going to do streaming till another year. But we have a gingerbread house competition, and it's so darling. And as this couple is falling in love, it's just part of the playfulness, but it's a definite nod to our own traditions. We love the cookie baking, caroling. We love that, but we really love Christmas movies. This is why we
Yeah.
thought it was a good year to bring Christmas movies, this Christmas movie, back to theaters. Because my first memory of seeing a Christmas movie was with my dad in the mid 1970s when we got to go see Scrooge the musical starring Albert Finney. And my dad took us kids, and it was the most beautiful, magical experience. And ever since then, I thought, the ones we can see on TV, that's so fun. Like you can keep them on in the background, the whole season, and it's just wonderful. But to make an event, to ring in Christmas, my dad always wanted to take us somewhere special. We didn't have a ton of money, so we weren't going to big concerts or, big productions, but we could go to the film, we could go to the theater and we could see something there. So that was a big part of my childhood was that special moment with my parents and my family, my siblings. And that's what this is a movie you could take your kids to. If you see the Christmas Ring in theaters, you'll experience that and your kids will have a kind of a memory as well that will remind them of what home and Christmas and traditions and how it all comes together as you give your heart a reset and allow Christmas season to begin at that point.
It's so fun. Now, how can they stay up to date with the movie, with the book? Where can they go see it? Is it in all theaters? What are some things that people need to know?
Yeah, so it's in theaters nationwide. And if find a theater where it isn't, you can ask them and they'll bring it in. So that's a nice thing, but it is nationwide. You can go to KarenKingsbury.com and there's a link there right on the homepage to click to go find out where is it in your play in your area. Or if you're more of a regular moviegoer, just go to Fandango or go to the Regal or Cinemark or AMC websites, whatever the theater website in your town that you go to, and they'll have it. They'll have it right there, and you can get your ticket. This is something to bring your groups to. Some people are having a great time. They're wearing their Christmas sweaters. Some are wearing Christmas PJs to go in and see the movie. They're going to go get their coffee first or go have a little gift exchange after, have a little coffee time. So it's one of those, it begs for community. It begs for you to bring your friends and your family to it so that you all together, again, that laughing, crying, feeling the wonder of love again in theaters together as a community is
Yeah,
something we only get in the theaters.
I love it. Well, Karen, thank you so much for taking time to talk about this new movie. And I am just so excited to see how it just warms people's hearts this Christmas season. I think it's going to be wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much, Megan. I hope you get a chance to see it. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Hey, friends, thanks so much for tuning in to the podcast today with Karen Kingsbury. I hope that you go out and see the movie, The Christmas Ring, in theaters near you. You can also get the book, The Christmas Ring, in a bookstore near you. Check it out. You don't want to miss it. For details, click in our show notes below. You can also find out more about our ministry in the show notes below, as well as more podcast episodes. Thanks for tuning in. Know that you are loved.